James, I'm still patched into Drake's comm system. I've intercepted enough radio chatter to learn that Drake's combat troops have overtaken the defense platform. Some of the original crew might still be alive, but I can't confirm that. I can tell you that Drake's deployed a laser defense net, which draws power from the platform's core. Rather enjoyed your company, James. Do be careful. Call out.
You're on a fool's errand, Mr. Bond. I've just locked the launch sequence. Nothing can stop Operation Nightfire. Not even my own death.
That's a theory I mean to test.
You've already failed miserably. But tinker with my missiles if you must. It'll make a splendid target for my laser cannons.
James, the missiles. You won't be able to disarm the warheads in time. Your only hope is to sabotage the launch system in some way. You'll have to disable them manually. Each launch gantry has a weak coupling that you can melt with your laser.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the final episode of Nightfire. So here, we're in space. We can move around freely, and at any point you press A, I believe it is, and you will kind of stabilize. The indicator in the top right is key. That tells you when enemies are appearing in the top 2 points on that thing, kind of at the T points. And then you've got 8 missiles, and it tells you which of those missiles is about to fire. So as you can see, you've got, when those things flash in the top, you've got people coming out of them, and then you've got a missile launching. So when that happens, point here, and wait for that thing to open. When it does... Oh, bugger me. Drake is shooting at us, technically. Oh, bugger me. Oh, God. Let's take those guys out. They only take 1 hit to kill each. When you've got this thing out, 2 shots to that, 3 shots even, will destroy it once and for all. And as you can see, that missile is now no longer active. As long as you can take out all 8 missiles, you will defeat it. So let's take it out of the 1, 2, 3... and 3 again, because I actually technically missed one of those. Right, we've got another 2 dudes coming up there. Oh, 3 dudes even. So that's it. That guy, that guy. Oh god, I think I've missed all of them. Basically, yeah, if you fuck that up, if you hit that, the missile goes off course, so you kind of fuck it up, which is good. I'm gonna have to take this missile out because I'm running out of time on it. Oh fuck! The lights give you an idea of how long you've got until that missile kills you. Well, until basically, if any of the missiles fire, you're dead. Like that's the end of the mission. Oh fuck me! There's so many dudes here. Let's kill them. Right. Let's kill this one. 1, 2, 3. Nope. 4. Oh god. I've not got a great deal of weapons left to kill this one, and there we go. Okay, we have got that. I've killed all the dudes for now, so actually we're doing pretty well, to be honest. Oh god, and all 3 of these remaining ones fire at once, and plus it gives me guys from here. So let's kill that guy. Let's kill that guy. A lot really depends on, because the samurai laser depends on how much charge you've got remaining. It really depends on how quickly you can kill people, because then if you can kill people in fewer shots, not necessarily faster, but fewer shots, you've got more shots left then to take out these things. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And then one final one to go. It's a relatively easy level, Equinox. 1, 2, and bam! Wonderful. Now Drake comes out to challenge us. There is a point here, I think it's somewhere like... There's a point where basically you can shoot an overcharge at him and you will kill him in 1. And I think it's somewhere like... It's around where these missiles fire off. I want to say it's here. And... bam! Not that point, apparently. Basically, he pops out and fights you soon. But there is a moment just before he does that where his hitbox does become real. But that wasn't it. So, all the missiles have been taken out, so we just need to kill Drake himself at this point. Oh, fight. Right, there we go. Where's he gone? Drake? Oh, so he's got a scorpion, but you can dodge out the way of it relatively easily. Just make sure you keep hitting him, really. And obviously not dodging those missiles is surprisingly easy, because we have free movement in space! Oh, there he goes. Wonderful. And that is Nightfire completed! Enjoy the final cutscene. Oh. We've got like a second of him flying backwards into space. There we go! Mission complete. So, let's enjoy the final cutscene.
Shaken, not stirred. Or is it stirred, not shaken? Definitely stirred.
Astronomers from around the globe are reporting unexpected meteor showers. Well done, 007.
Then I'm sure the world won't mind my taking a few days off. We'll let the autopilot be our designated driver.
Oh, James.
Oh, that's what I love about this game. It really gets the Bond feel, shitty though it is, really well. And so that's us done. We've beaten Equinox, we've done the entire game. Some levels have been considerably longer than others, and yet here we are.
Working for over 20 months, the team at EA Games developed James Bond 007 Nightfire. 3 core international teams in the United States, England and Canada, programmers, writers, artists, designers and animators, collaborated to create an unparalleled James Bond experience. Adding to the fantasy, Agent 007 looks and feels just like the film star himself, Pierce Brosnan. Thanks in part to a laser scanning process that captured the features of his face using over 250,000 data points, Brosnan's persona as 007 brings the Bond film star into the hands of game players.
When you see Pierce Brosnan in the game, you see Pierce Brosnan. He's the epitome of James Bond, debonair, suave, charismatic. Came out great. And I think he brings a certain authenticity and personality to the character just like he does in the film. So when you see him wink or raise his eyebrow, you're definitely seeing the real McCoy.
Fast cars are another part of the James Bond equation. The Aston Martin V12 Vanquish. The Vanquish, also featured in this year's Bond film Die Another Day, sports a 6-litre V12 engine with a Formula 1 style transmission. It can go from 0 to 60 in under 5 seconds and reach speeds in excess of 190 miles per hour. To bring this amazing vehicle into the game, the design team at EA worked with Aston Martin to capture all of the exact specs and performance attributes of the car, then created a 3D mesh in the digital realm. From fast cars to beautiful women and exotic locations, James Bond 007 Nightfire is packed with all the elements that make it classic James Bond, allowing the player to live out the fantasy of the world's best secret agent.
Well, thanks everyone for watching. This has been a fun night for me. I'm currently at 5 hours and 7 minutes, which is the entire time it's taken to record the entire game. So that's... oh, let's do an average. Shit. 5 times 60 divided by 12 equals... oh, that's been roughly 25 minutes per episode, which isn't right, so we've had some very long episodes and some very short episodes is really what it's come down to. But it's been a fun one to record, and it's been quite nice because, as I say, it's well, today for me is now it's the 1st of July, but when I started recording it was the 30th of June, and therefore this has been a really nice way to fill July, because July is the busiest I've ever been, because as I say, I'm in the final stretches of a PhD, and so I'm in the lab 14, 15 hours a day. And therefore this is not the time to to start a Let's Play of Ocarina of Time, which is a fucking gigantic game. Therefore, it's been really nice to record all of Nightfire tonight and enjoy that and just have a fun... Like, Nightfire, it's been really fun to do. There have been some slight weak points, mostly been Island Infiltration, Countdown, kind of, both of which have had a lot of downtime, just of times where I've had to... This is a lot like... So, me and the boy recently played through Lord of the Rings Return of the King, and what makes that game hard is nothing to do with the actual difficulty of the game, it's more... Well, depends what you mean by difficulty. What makes that game hard is the lack of checkpoints. If you die, you just have to go all the way back to basically the beginning of almost every level. And this is the same thing. Like, what makes it difficult is checkpoints rather than difficulty in and of itself. And I don't know how much that actually counts as difficulty, where it's like when a game is hard because when you die, you go back a long way. Does that make the game itself hard? Or if the game is easy but has unforgiving checkpoints, I don't know how to really class that. But it's been a fun one to record. I was quite worried because it got to a point, as these things often do, where it's like, I drink while I'm playing games, and I drink quite a lot as I'm playing games, and then it gets to a point where the game's difficulty curve and my drunk curve hit a convergence point, and then the game gets harder at a rate faster than I'm getting drunk, and I'm just like, oh, not only am I getting drunker, but this game is getting harder. I'm just feel like, I don't know what I'm fucking doing. But I think this game does have quite a hard difficulty curve, but almost that depends on levels. Like in the early game, you have a lot of auto-scrollers, like, fucking, what's it called? Alpine Escape is basically an auto-scroller. Well, it is an auto-scroller. Enemies Vanquished is a very easy level, which you really don't have to put much effort into. Obviously, the first one, Parish Prelude, is an auto-scroller. You have a lot of quite easy levels, and then it gets hard quite quickly, but what makes it hard, like when you get to Deep Descent and Island Infiltration and Countdown, the three I probably had the most issue with. Like, what makes them difficult is not the fact that they're hard, it's more just the fact that you have longer in between checkpoints, therefore when you die you have to do the same thing again much more frequently, which I always feel like is a slightly shitey way of doing difficulty. But it's a really good fun game, and it really, for me, it does capture the essence of what a Bond film is, of like, to summarize it, Bond films are fucking dumb. Like, if you compare, the ones I would compare them with is the Bourne films. Like, there's a big difference between an action film and a Bond film. Action films try and, roughly speaking, ground themselves in reality. They try and do stunts which aren't too ridiculous because they know an audience would phase out and be like, this is fucking dumb. Bond films, I feel like, don't, or rather shouldn't, limit themselves to that. It's just like, Bond films do fucking ridiculous shit, because it's like, yeah, it's not a serious action film, it's a Bond film. They're ridiculous. Bond does ludicrous stunts, which we all know aren't physically possible in any way, and then he says some fucking snide-ass, dumb, shitty comment afterwards, and that's what I really like about Bond films. They are fucking ridiculous. Basically, they have to be... You gotta have a couple of things for me to make a true Bond film. You gotta have gadgets, you have weird shit disguised as other weird shit that come up throughout the... Like, they're introduced, all of them by Q, like, in the lab, are like, oh, you've got this thing, you've got a mobile phone that'll impregnate a woman, you've got a fucking pitchfork that'll kill a man, if you, like, I don't fucking know, I'm not a writer of Bond films, as you can probably tell if you've ever listened to my commentary, ever, but you've got a lot of dumb gadgets, and then they all come into the plot relatively naturally as it progresses, so you got that. You gotta have ridiculous chase scenes for a Bond film, and not just like car chases. Like, you gotta have like Bond being chased over rooftops, everyone doing fucking stupid backflips. Bond like crashes into like a Japanese baths and does like a konnichiwa gesture to the geisha girls, then he runs off in the baths, and the enemy doesn't do that because the enemy's a shit. Like, that kind of like ridiculous chase scene, be it in a vehicle or otherwise, is a key part of a Bond, and it's just the idea that the plot has got to be ridiculous. The plot has got to go from, like, a number of ridiculous locations. So you start in London, then you have, say, a scene in Taipei, you have a scene in San Francisco, and the culminating scene is, like, a gold mine in Uttar Pradesh or something like that. Like, it jumps all the fuck over the place. And I feel like all of those elements are really nailed by Nightfire. Like, Nightfire has the gadgets, it has, like... You've got the ridiculous watch laser, you've got the car keys stun gun thing, you've got the micro camera in a lighter, you've got those things, you've got the various vehicles, like, I mean, we haven't even seen the vehicles which you only get in the single player mode, and the multiplayer mode, which are the remote control helicopter and remote control tank, but you've got the Vanquish, the snowmobile, then you've got you drive the SUV thing, the flying little heli chopper microlight thing, and the turret that you go in that. You've got a lot of ridiculous chase scenes, like arguably, those first two ones, Alpine Escape and Enemies Vanquished, are both ridiculous chase scenes, and then they're followed by, and Bond has the right lines at the right moment, and you go from location to location. So let's plot it out. You start in Austria, then following Austria, you go to Japan for a couple of episodes, levels, whatever, and then you go to, so Chain Reaction, I think it's still in Japan, and then you go to Drake's Island, which is somewhere in the South Pacific, I guess. It's never really specifically said. I think it does show on the loading screens where exactly it is, but it's really, Nightfire ticks all the boxes that most Bond films tick, and actually ticks a lot of boxes which some Bond films don't, like, for example, a lot of the Daniel Craig ones, well, 2 or 3 of them. Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, not seen Spectre yet, actually. I enjoyed, what was it called? The one that had Javier Bardem as the villain. Skyfall. I enjoyed Skyfall, that was good fun, but I've still not actually but it was unusual. Like, it was enjoyable, but didn't necessarily follow the Bond formula that I just kind of laid out, and I haven't seen Spectre yet, and I think that has a similar kind of issue. But yeah, it's been a fun game to do, just because it's a relatively straightforward game, but as you see, I did suffer with it somewhat, and that was on the easiest difficulty. I still had issues with difficulty of dying and stuff like that. Like, it's not an easy game. It's never going to be an easy game, and that was on technically easy difficulty. I think I've once completed this game on Operative. Operative was what I just beat it on. I think I've done it once on Agent. I don't think I've ever done it on 00 Agent. It's fucking really hard. And yeah, I saw a speedrun of it recently. There was AGDQ a few years ago, and it was done in 40 minutes. And it's like, there's a lot of holes in this game, and I would recommend, if you enjoyed this, watch the AGDQ speedrun of Nightfire. It's by Keystone Light, and it's really fucking entertaining. I always love watching speedruns, because it's just like, it's cool to know a game and then see someone play that game. It's like you're watching the culmination of a community which knows that game as well as you, but in a completely different way. Like, I can have played through the campaign of Nightfire thousands of times, but how I know that game versus how a speedrunning community knows it is related, but completely separate, in that the speedrunning community knows exactly where you do certain techniques and stuff like that. It's really fucking cool. I love watching speedruns, just because it's like, this is people who know a game in a completely different way to someone who's spent years playing that game. Like, yes, speedrunning is still playing a game, but it's such a different approach to it. It's really cool. I do love watching it. This is a really long credit scene. Holy shit. This episode, at least, will be fleshed out. I was worried this was going to be quite a small episode, because Equinox is an easy level, it only takes like 5 minutes. 10 max. And the credits are really overdoing that. So, I guess, well, at this point, we're towards... Today's date is probably towards the end of July, if not further beyond. And so, Ocarina of Time is going to be coming up soon. I've got a lot of Ocarina of Time prepared, but I haven't recorded any of it yet, partly because today is the 1st of July. Well, I started recording at the 30th of... James Bond will return. Nice. Classic reference. I like it. Yes, so we will... And equally, the infamous gentleman, or the infamous doctor, will return. So, I do want to record... It's going to be Ocarina of Time following almost immediately after this. I don't think there'll be an overlap, because Currently, this is going to air for a month, and hopefully during that month I will get Ocarina recorded and pretty much ready to roll immediately following this. So that will be the next major thing that's coming on the channel. And there we go. So thank you very much for watching Nightfire. It's been so much fun, and hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I did. Thank you very much. I'm going to drop a second trailer for Ocarina of Time. I hope you'll join me for Ocarina of Time. It's a game I'm super excited for. A lot of people rank it as the best game of all time. It's not my favourite Zelda. My favourite would be Majora's Mask, but it's bloody close. It's still an extremely good, well done, enjoyable game, and it's one I'm really excited to let's play, so I hope you will join me for that. And for a final time, thank you very much, and good day.